This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 208 Aussie Mac Zone. We're all back together again. All three of the regulars are back together to pick on each other. So, Garth, how are you after your holiday, buddy?
Oh, rested, relaxed, and just came out of a out of a car with my kids for 2 days driving. So actually, that's a lot of lies. No, it was good actually. It was good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got away, mate.
Yeah,
Very
a
proud
bit
of
of time
you.
at the beach and so forth was great.
And Nick, are you all primed for your exam, son?
Oh, I'm ready, Michael.
Excellent. So don't forget, we are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. And yes, I have my list back again. Affordable and competitive plans, 99.95% uptime, domain registration, free setup, auto setup, 24/7, instant activation, accepting PayPal and other cards, 250 scripts installed with one click, which includes everybody's favourite WordPress, but Joomla and many, many more. And we use the cPanel industry standard user-friendly feature-rich control panel, all from starting at $5.95 per month when paid annually, with a 24/7 ticket support system and friendly help when needed. So our Aussie Apple ramblings this week, so we've all having a chance to catch up, but one important thing I should point out is don't upgrade to iOS 11 if you use Outlook and Exchange. So it's suggested that those of you wishing to upgrade wait for the next release, and hopefully that Outlook and Exchange situation will be sorted. Is that you, Garth?
No, well, no, I haven't. So when they're saying they're talking about with there. See, I've been on holidays.
Yeah, he's lost the.
I've lost the ability to speak. Yeah, they're talking about the actual native
Act
mail
like
app.
we're
Yeah?
a kids in the back seat and just shout at us.
Shut up. No, we're not there yet. So native mail app with Exchange, with any Exchange server,
Yeah.
or is it purely?
No, I think it's the Outlook app. I think it's the Outlook app.
Yeah.
And an Exchange server. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. You know, move over to the native mail app and you'll be fine anyway. Then.
Yeah, that's what I believe. So now Apple TV 4K. We're gonna talk to Garth in a minute about what he thinks about everything, but we'll just get a couple of things out of the way first. When Tim Cook announced that the new Apple TV would support 4K video, he followed up by saying iTunes customers who had already purchased movies would receive a free upgrade to the Ultra HD picture quality. But now, as the first batch of new Apple TVs hit store shelves around the world, it has come to light that this upgrade isn't quite so straightforward. As it turns out, Apple TV will only be able to display the 4K video via streaming, according to a support document recently put out by the tech giant. So even if you have purchased and own a 4K version of a movie, you'll only be able to access it at its fullest high-def version when your Apple TV is connected to a high-speed Wi-Fi connection or Ethernet. So you can't actually download it and save it and blah, blah, blah. That's probably part of the deal. So they could.
Yeah, we wouldn't want you ripping them off at all, would you? You know, easy access to such high definition that you can then
Yes.
try and work a way around.
Can you hang on one sec? I'm just going to... Can we go up to here for a minute? Yeah. Click up here somewhere. Should get a menu. Yeah. Zoom preferences. The mic's all the way up. Maybe a bit more output level. Yeah. Try that. Right. Close that. And then go back up onto that. Yeah, sorry about that. I was just adjusting some volumes, I hope.
No worries.
Yeah, still a bit. Now, here's some good signs for us. iTunes Store doubles movie rental playback time to 48 hours. So Apple has slowly been improving the movie rental experience on iTunes this year as it focuses on revenue growth from services. Back in March, Apple introduced a new Rent Once, Watch Anywhere feature that removed the playback restriction for viewing rentals on different devices. Now, Apple has doubled the amount of time you're allowed to play a rental after you start watching. So that's good.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes you
just
do
confirmed to
get
be in the
interrupted.
Australian. Is it confirmed in the Australian store as well?
I
'Cause initially,
believe
when I saw this, it was only
Yeah.
US. Yeah.
No, I thought it was worldwide.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
Just a nice little convenience thing.
Yeah. Now, here's a IKEA riffs on Apple slogans to promote furniture with built-in wireless charging. So now, Swedish furniture company IKEA has been building QI devices, wireless chargers, so Qi wireless chargers into some of its furniture since 2015. But with the iPhone 8 and upcoming iPhone 10 creating a big new market, it has chosen a clever, cheeky way to make Apple fans take note. And the IKEA picture. So we've got one more thing. It's also a lamp, or link different, or this charges everything, or apple juice.
Very good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Very clever, very simple. Something we can all relate to as Apple people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's very good. And yeah, they're Qi. So from what I understand, Qi is the number 7, or because Chinese language is sort of textual.
Contextual, yeah.
Qi has also got to do with the flow of power, or I think that's the right way of saying it.
Movement of energy through the atmosphere.
There you go. See,
Or something like that.
Well done. Well done.
You know, you just
So, my
hang out
friend
and you
Garth.
feel the force. Yes.
You've had miles of time to dwell on the Apple event,
Oh man.
so we're
You
going to
know-
put it on you now. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Yep.
You know, you mentioned a moment ago the one more thing, and that was an appropriate use of the one more thing.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, it was nice. And while also on the back of what we were just talking about, the Qi charging, so glad to see Apple went with a standard like that rather than coming up with their own proprietary thing, which is what many would assume they would have done. But no, we've just got adopted one of the standards.
Yes.
Like, sort of tackling some of the smaller stuff first, like things like that, but stuff that is really cool. And when we're talking about standards, a high dynamic range, there's two competing ones, and they support both of them because it's just a software thing.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to make a hardware choice. So rather than once again, enforcing some arbitrary thing of their own, we'll just support both the formats, both the competing formats at the moment.
And that's
for high
like a
def-
VHS beta thing for us oldies. I think it's just two competing standards trying to get there.
Yeah, for the high dynamic range.
Yeah.
So lots of really nice stuff like that, which was just, Apple hopefully starting to break down some of those, the typical things that all Android users say, and the norm in terms of what people would have a go at Apple for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Devices themselves. This is my, it's not really a comment on whether any of these devices are good or not. So I can only really talk to my own perspective on them and how I would find them useful. The LTE Apple Watch, probably not something that I need or want, moving from the 2. Going from the 2 to the 3, the thing that excites me more than the LTE is just the faster processor, because that's the barrier I still run into with the speed of the Apple Watch.
Okay.
Especially with VoiceOver running, that's an extra accessibility thing. It slows it down even more than what most people would. I always have my phone with me, so it's no big deal whether it's got LTE or not. So But for a lot of people, that's fantastic. That's the thing that has been holding them back from getting a device like an Apple Watch. There's not been interested in a watch that couldn't be standalone or couldn't be useful when away from its parent device and such.
Yeah.
So personally, take it or leave it. But I can understand the excitement people have in such a device, and on that as well, the incredible fact that they've fit that into that 42 and 38 millimeter devices. To have an LTE enabled smartwatch in the 38 millimeter form factor, same size as it was last year.
Yeah.
That from initial reviews still gets pretty much a full day. I read a review on iMore, I think, and 38 millimeter had an hour and a half where it was definitely, or 2 hours maybe, where it was definitely off. It was definitely on LTE.
Yep.
And still got through the day along with some exercise, which is just extraordinary as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
How they've fit that into that device. Apple TV, haven't got a 4K TV. Won't be getting one in the near future. Take it or leave it. Couldn't care less.
Yeah. One of my acquaintances rang me today and asked me about that, and he's actually got a 4K TV. But he was wondering, so if my wife's watching something 4K on the 4K television and I'm watching something 4K on my 5K iMac, should we be able to watch them all right? I said,
oh, so have you got... how's your internet provided? And you sell one? No, maybe not so much. Spend all day downloading it beforehand? Yeah, okay. Well, not that we can do that anyway because it's streaming only.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But once again, 2 years later, two generation newer processor in there. I think it's got the A10 in there, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
From memory, so we've gone from an A8 to an A10, which is really, probably not much difference to the end user, but it just extends the usefulness of that product over the next few years.
Yeah.
I don't think the Apple TV is not something you need to go out and change all the time. I think most people will easily be able to get 4 or 5 years out of an Apple TV without any need whatsoever to upgrade it.
Yeah. The only reason I would buy a new one is if I ever get a 4K TV.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, look, it's a nice. Once again, it's a good device, good upgrade. Price point slightly higher than it was before, I think, but you can still get the
$245 or $249 for the 32 gig 4K version.
Yeah, so price point has gone up a little bit there. Now
actually,
the
price
phones
went up on iPads as well.
Yes, that was.
And it's all to do with memory. We think it's a lot of it's based on memory.
So they say.
Yeah.
$50 US. I don't know how that's translated here. $70, $80, I imagine.
Yeah.
Increase on what already was an expensive product, to be fair.
Yeah.
Once again, that's not a comment on whether or not it's worth it. It is just simply quite an expensive product. iPhones, and I'll get some of your opinions, Michael. I haven't heard what you guys have got to say on any of this stuff either yet, because I haven't listened to much. But iPhone 8, had they stopped and had we not had all the rumors about the 10 prior to this event, would you have been happy with the iPhone 8?
The iPhone 8's awesome. Went down and had a look on the weekend and had a look at one.
Yep, me
at
too.
The Apple Store. Yeah, nice phone, very nice phone. If I wasn't saving up some more for an iPhone 10, I would have one for sure. We had a fiddle with using the camera with the new lighting for the portrait mode, and then lighting in the portrait mode.
Yep.
But just the portrait mode photo, just like first thing Karen said was, "Look at the quality of the photo. Like, look how clear it is." And then when I showed her the lighting effects, like, it was just brilliant. It was so easy, like seconds, just bang bang. Which effect do you want better? It was that easy.
Wow, very cool. Yeah. Once again, fantastic device. And I think we've got a story coming up about that, about the Geekbench results for that. And the 8, you're still getting all of the same processor that you are with the 10. And in fact, you've got less pixels to push, so you might actually get slightly, marginally better performance out of it. I don't know
And
if it works like that, really, but yeah.
one interesting point regarding that was, this is the only one that changes that pricing argument with RAM at the moment, because what have we got, 64 and 256, and it's only $150 US difference, I think, between the two of them.
Yeah, so normally, though, they would have gone...
that would be like $100 a jump, so it'd be, $200 US difference.
Yeah, they've split the difference, though, haven't they?
Yeah.
I guess they've split the difference. They've taken out the 128 option.
Yeah.
But sort of split the difference in the pricing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, 60. Look, the point too, though, is for the vast majority of people, 64 gig, and probably me even, 64 gig is fine. I've got iCloud. I've got 200 gig of iCloud storage.
Yeah.
It'll offload, photos and videos. So 64 gig for a lot of people is going to be ample. We're no longer in that zone of, why do they sell a 16 gig? That's really not doing their customers any favors. So that whole dialogue is gone. You know what I mean? We don't need to, So
interesting color choices on the devices, because like the rose gold is really now a mixture of gold and rose gold. Like it's changed significantly.
So they simplified the color range a bit, really. They've sort of taken the two golds and made it into one somewhere in between. The faces on those phones, so they're doing, at one stage I heard a rumor that the face was going to be black no matter what, but
no,
it's
I'm
not
sure
the case, is it?
Definitely black and
white
white
face.
ones,
Yeah. And then we've just got the standard space grey type color rather than the blacks that we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
But beautiful from what I hear. Very, very nice. The silver.
Still very comfortable.
The silver is still a weird option. I don't know who chooses the silver. It's almost like that's the one you get when you can't get the ones you want.
Quite probably.
Sort of more grippy. I had a bit of a play with one, and easier to keep a hold of, right? Then I'd feel more comfortable holding that in my hand without a case than I would with the current phone.
Yes.
Well, not in terms of breaking, but in terms of it slipping out of your hands.
It just had just a little different texture to it.
Yeah. The glass seems to make it more tacky. Well, not tacky, but you know what I mean. Stay in the hand better.
Yeah.
And then we have the 10. Well, fantastic, right? Demo fails aside.
But it wasn't a fail.
I know, but it was, right? It was. It did what it was supposed to do.
It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Showed you it was more secure.
The demonstration itself was a failure of a demonstration. It was handled well.
Yes.
Don't be all upset. But the demonstration did not go as it should have. It
did not. Yes.
So it was a demo fail. Let's not make any bones about that. But yeah, the product worked as it should have. It's just that it was a very inconvenient time for that to have happened. Introduction to the world. Hello. Let's switch to the other device.
Well, it got it on the news for longer, I suppose.
Yeah. And it meant that we got to speak to, Frederick, what's his face, did a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
That possibly wouldn't have occurred otherwise.
Yeah. And also, one of the podcasts I listened to today, even it's been suggested to people that have been using the phone for quite a while that they should tell their press friends. I've never had that problem. Like it's not an issue. It's just that was
Mm.
just something that happened on stage, and that was all there is to it. There
Yeah.
is no issue. So
What I'm wondering is if I would have thought that they would have to swipe up as well as look at it to trigger the I want to unlock you thing. You know what I mean? So is that just from the polishing? He's been swiping up while looking at it, I guess. But if it's just purely by looking at it and giving it intent to look at,
yeah,
then you could easily go around and sort of pick up people's phones and look at them so that, just to be annoying, to make them put their passcode in all the time.
yeah, well, that's right.
Surely
That's
surely
exactly right. Yeah.
I would hope that I'm either misunderstanding that or, they change it, because you don't want to be locked out of your phone constantly because it has been seeing people looking at it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if the stagehand or the audio guy's been standing there swiping it, just because they've got to do things like set up the camera so the camera can see the screen that then was being displayed on the big screen behind them on the stage. So if
Absolutely.
the stagehand's been swiping up so that they can, how
Yeah.
much that they've got to, and then they adjust the camera, and then he swipes up again, and they adjust the camera, and then it just might have got to that 10th time or however many time it takes, and
Well,
boom.
I'm hoping that's the case. It is because not only was it being looked at, but it was, the swipe up action was occurring.
Yeah.
And it's only the conjunction of those two things that will trigger I'm trying to unlock you, and therefore, do a lockout, a fail.
Yeah.
Lockout. And under iOS, with the Touch ID as it is now,
Yeah.
it only takes 3 of those attempts, I think.
Mm-hmm.
3 attempted unlocking to get get your passcode there.
Now, there's a couple of things we have found out this week is generally sunglasses won't affect it. It'll recognise you and see your eye. Will be able to unlock it.
Yep.
There are some sunglasses that block UV light.
Infrared.
Infrared,
the one?
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
so
all block
most
they're meant to block UV.
you would hope so. Yeah.
The infrared light. And they won't work with the phone. They stop it
Yeah.
looking at your eyes and seeing what your intent
Exactly.
is.
And a lot of I think better sunglasses should block the infrared as well.
Mhm.
It's but yeah, Your
So
mileage
there is
may
a
vary.
challenge there.
you just turn off the intent
Yes.
part under accessibility.
Yeah,
and
if you're
you
actually
get around
going
that.
down and sitting on
Yeah.
the beach and you're going to have your special sunglasses on, you just turn that off at the beach. So
Yeah.
yeah, for example.
And once again, it's nicely waterproof. Well, let's not say waterproof, but it's splash and all that resistant. So while we're talking about the beach, I can't wait to feel one and have a play with a 10. For me, the 8 is probably all I really need. There's nothing. You get the wireless charging, you get the faster processor. It doesn't bother me if the screen's bigger. It's no benefit to me, sort of thing. Except for all for me is the facial unlock or whatever you want to call it, whatever they're calling that. So I must admit, though, all of that said, love the device, love it all. It's all great. Went in, picked it up in the Apple Store, and I admit it was sort of kind of disappointing almost, because it was just so the same as my 6S. Like, I got my 6S out and said, yeah, it's exactly the same shape. You hold them together and there's hardly any difference between the two. Slightly different thickness, but really sort of like, my 6S is still actually working pretty well. And it's got a headphone jack. Do I need to update? All my sort of, it's been 2 years. I deserve an update. That's how it works, right? You have
Exactly
your
right,
device for
yes.
2 years. And then I go and have a look and I think, maybe I don't actually need to. And then I thought, am I just sort of holding off for the 10?
The interesting thing that I heard about the 10 during the week, I think was on the Accidental podcast. He was saying, Marco, who's the developer, was saying the screen isn't as I think it's wider than the standard 8, but it's not as wide as the 8 Plus. So it is taller,
Yes,
but it's
physically.
not wider.
Yeah.
Like pixel-wise, it's not wider.
Point wise, maybe
Yeah, point wise. Sorry. Yeah.
not pixel. It's yeah. I thought the screens. I thought okay, so it's longer, and that's why it is actually quoted as being bigger in the
Yeah.
diagonal
Yeah.
than the 6 Plus.
Yes.
However, it's not as wide as a 6 Plus current or 7 Plus, whatever.
Mm.
Okay, interesting, but longer.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the divot? The
Doesn't bother me in the least.
yeah, I don't know.
Not at all.
Embrace it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
I just can't quite get the hang of putting it on the side though.
Yeah.
You go in to watch a movie. What happens there? You would hope they blacked it out or something. I don't know. Just
They'll either black it out totally. So you think, because you don't really go, oh, I'm not holding this quite in the middle, do you? Like,
no. If they blacked it out, that would be fine. But if they're still trying to embrace it, and you've got UI above and below the notch, then I don't know, that would be weird.
But you wouldn't normally have UI on the left or the right, but would you in that particular
No, but
case?
well, okay, just white background, black background. I don't know. They've got to do something with that. So as long as it's at that, I just cannot see any way other than hiding it in portrait.
Mm-hmm. In portrait, they'll have.
In landscape.
Yeah. Hiding it in landscape. Yeah. I don't think that's a problem. It's not that big anyway, is it?
Well, I don't know.
It's
It's
not
only
like it's a thumb size.
it's only a small thing. No,
it's only
just a little,
fairly small.
Yeah.
Not much bigger than the text that we're already used to having up on the left or the
Up
right
there anyway.
at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were talking about today. The PCalc guy's already written
Yes.
his app for it and embraced it with the notches. But all he's done is put the normal things there, like that you would normally see, like the strength, etc., the signal strength and the time, and but just with his coloured background.
Mm.
And they said it looks great.
Yeah.
Nothing too dramatic.
Yeah.
You know.
Now here we go on PCalc on Mr. Oh, what's his name? James.
Yeah.
James. Can't think of his name. Has really gone to town for a calculator app with the augmented reality. How have you been?
Apparently,
Have you been playing much with augmented reality in various guises?
Not at all yet, but I did download some links tonight for various apps for augmented reality.
Okay.
Well, I was putting the show notes together. Bless you.
Jeez. Me, sorry about that. I couldn't get to my mute button and couldn't find. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much everything, isn't it? The 10 and the 8. Oh, and why did they have to do that? The X10 thing. I mean, we just got over Mac OS 10. I mean, not Mac.
Mac OS X.
OS X. We just got past OS X.
Yeah.
Thank goodness those days were gone because we had Mac OS instead of OS X. And yeah, now we have to go around correcting people and saying, no, it's not an iPhone X, it's an iPhone 10.
Yes.
Don't you know?
So are we going to get an iPhone 9 next year?
It's a good point.
And a 10.1?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the SE will be the 9. Because I'm thinking, March next year we're in line for a new SE version. We had the C, 5C or whatever it was.
Yeah,
then 2 years after that, the SE. So, and that actually could be an interesting product if they gave it the same processor once again, the glass back, but that same kind of form factor that the iPhone 5 or SE has at the moment, with the the hard metal edge and glass on front and back. That would be my perfect. I was really hoping that the 8 was going to have that kind of. When I heard it was glass on the back, I thought, oh God, go back to the iPhone 4 days, because that
you want
that
flatter
form,
sides.
Yeah, I've got one sitting here actually. That hard edge, flat side, glass front, back.
Yeah.
I know. I think that to me is still the iconic platonic shape for an iPhone. So, yeah.
There was one thing. There was an app for those phones because they were flat on the bottom.
Yes.
You could stand it up, click
Use
it,
it as a level.
and but it'd vibrate itself in a circle.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And take a circular 3D picture,
360.
360 degree picture. Right? Absolutely awesome. Like you just sit it there at a bar and take a
Yep.
picture of everyone at the bar, like sitting at the table with you. It'd only take a minute.
Yep.
It was great. Like so
But-
clever, so clever.
So the 8, right? The 10.
Yep.
It's still going to have slightly curved edges, isn't it? It's going to have that metal band,
Yep.
but are they going to be? I think they're curved like the 8 and the 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine the 10 though. Like if it was that, and had that flat edge,
Yeah.
really the screen would then disappear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the edge would disappear. That would be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Please,
And
Apple.
They
Please
had to
make it for me.
bend the like the OLED displays are actually bent on the corners of the screens.
Over the edge a little bit.
Yeah, just to
Yep.
round them off. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, give me my hard edges back.
I know. Simple. We're simple people, aren't we?
Yeah. Just make the product exactly as I want.
Yeah.
All right. But no, so the SE, maybe we'll get, if we do get another generation of that, 5-inch form factor or
Mhm.
4.5 or whatever it actually was. What is it? 4-inch even? I don't know. It's 4-inch. We started, can you imagine, even remember that? We started off, the first phones were 3.5.
Yep.
And what are we up to now with the X? It's, I just said X. It's close on 6 inches,
Yeah.
5.7 or something.
It's astounding,
So,
isn't it?
yeah,
And all the other changes that have gone along the
absolutely.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, awesome. And I'm glad we've had a chance for you to chuck out some of
Debrief.
your opinions. It's good. One thing that I'm surprised about is with iOS 11, they didn't actually give us a choice, like in the background somewhere, that we could actually do things like just stop using the home button. Swipe from the bottom. Why can't we do that
Yeah.
anyway? Like,
Yeah. You think that action would still be supported?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a bit surprised about
Get you
that.
used to the idea.
Yeah, because
And I thought
we're
there'd
going
be
to
more
buy a new phone anyway, aren't we? Like,
at
not
some
this
point.
year, next year. But what's the
Mm.
difference? We don't need a home button anymore. Just swipe. Like, just
Yeah. If it's such a natural thing to do, then
yeah.
I don't know.
So,
Duplication, additional. So controls, it adds, I guess, when you've got a home button there, you might as well use it. Otherwise, you're adding confusion unnecessarily around, not confusion, but that action to swipe from the bottom now is just control center,
yeah,
So if
Yeah.
you then go and layer that with additional actions, that is what you will have to get used to.
that's right.
With the
So
10.
why not train me now? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
so anyway,
Oh well, it didn't happen.
they're obviously smarter than us. They must know a reason why.
Indeed. Yes.
All right. So don't forget our friends at Aussie Tech Radio, which we've got currently streaming on Aussie Tech Radio. There is, of course, the award-winning Aussie Tech Heads Weekly News. There's
Indeed.
Aussie Mac Zone. There's Aussie Tech Security Podcast. What about the Old Fart Geeks or the Obsidian Loft, which is a Minecraft
What?
podcast?
Yep.
Vertical Hold, Your Tech Life, Tech Webcast, or Two Blokes Talking Tech, Geeks
Yep.
Interrupted, or Let's Talk Leadership, and Apple Slice. That's to name a few of them.
Oh, is Apple Slice? I've forgotten about that one. It was yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. It's still on the webpage, so
Okay.
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so enjoy Aussie Tech Radio. Very simple. Just put it there, stream it, listen to it all day while you're working, and that way you can say, "I'm definitely not streaming any music, sir." So, have you got any other special notes you'd like to bring up before we go on to a couple of
No,
things?
go on to
couple more stories?
yeah, a couple more stories, Michael.
Yeah. I'm just getting there as we go through here. All right, so getting on to our iPhone 8 faster than a Core i5 13-inch MacBook Pro in the Geekbench, and it leaves the Samsung S8 for dead.
Of course it does.
So we noted in the iPhone review that the Geekbench scores of the new iPhone were equivalent to a MacBook Pro. Put simply, the iPhone 8 lineup has a MacBook Pro Intel level processor inside it. So fresh tests provide a direct comparison to prove the point and show the astonishing performance lead the iPhone 8 has over Samsung's flagship devices in real-life video editing tasks. So the time needed to export a 2-minute 4K video clip, so the Galaxy S8 Plus, 4.07 seconds. A Galaxy Note 8, which was 3.03 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And this is unbelievable. The iPhone 8, 0.42 seconds.
Holy dooly. We're talking an order of magnitude faster, pretty much.
Like 0.42, you haven't finished pressing the button, have you? Like, boom, it's done.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, 42 seconds. Yeah, sorry, 42 seconds. But still, thank you for double checking me there.
Hey?
But yeah, 42 seconds, which is still a fraction, isn't it?
Hang on. What? 42 seconds
42
is what?
seconds. As opposed to 3 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Everything's down. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds more like it.
Yeah, but still, it's a fraction of a second.
But 4
Like,
minutes
just-
compared to 42 seconds even.
Yeah. Astounding.
Mm.
And I would have thought the quality of the video is probably better too from the cameras. But, I'm very biased, I must admit.
I think Samsung can have some pretty nice cameras in there.
Yeah. But it's what you do after you take the picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now,
That's what you do with it.
another little interesting thing to come out of the changes.
Size doesn't matter, Michael. Size doesn't matter.
Size doesn't matter, is that right? Okay. Hear that, Karen? Size doesn't matter. Oh, she knows.
She had to learn that truth a long time ago. Anyway, sorry, I'm taking us right off track here.
So, toggling Bluetooth and Wi-Fi in iOS 11 Control Center does not turn them off. We used to, prior to iOS 11, you'd hit the Bluetooth symbol and it'd turn off Bluetooth. You'd hit Wi-Fi symbol, it'd turn off Wi-Fi. But Apple's support document explains in iOS 11 and later, when you toggle the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth buttons in Control Center, your devices will immediately disconnect from Wi-Fi and Bluetooth accessories. Both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth will continue to be available, so you can use these important features: AirDrop, AirPlay, Apple Pencil, Apple Watch, and continuity features like handoff and instant hotspot. Then also you've got instant hotspot and location services, which are all based on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So you can of course switch off both forms of connectivity in settings, or toggle on airplane mode if you also want to disable your mobile service. So yeah, just remember, it doesn't actually turn them off anymore. It only disconnects them from ones you're currently connected to. Now, another peculiarity, even if you switch off in settings, Apple switches both radio systems back on at 5 a.m. Now, this
That is a
may
funny
be
one, isn't it?
because people forget they've switched it off, and then they can't understand why a device won't connect the next day. What do you think about that?
It's probably not a bad idea, but with any of these things, where are you going to work that out? How is that? I don't know. It's strange. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I guess they had the data to say, yeah, this was a frustration, and the angst that's caused by changing it is better than the angst that was caused by not changing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm happy. It is interesting. That's about all. You know, it's fine. I don't you know, I can imagine it's the sort of thing that some tech commentators probably will get their knickers in a knot about.
Yeah.
You know, I should be able to control it and blah 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 blah.
You can.
That's right. But from overall user experience, it's they're probably all very, very good decisions.
Yeah. Now another interesting one I had this week. So I had a very slow. One of my customers had a very slow printing dialog box. So if a HP plan printer was selected as the default printer, the dialog box, which is when you press Command P, would show the spinning wheel for ages and ages, then come up and you could select your print selections and then it would print, no problem whatsoever. But for some reason it just showed this spinning wheel over and over. But then if we choose the laser printer as the default printer in the dialog box, if we choose the laser printer as the default printer, the dialog box would appear immediately, just like you're used to now. You hit Command P, the dialog box comes up. But then we could select the HP printer, choose our choices, and press print. And that was about 5 times faster than waiting for the spinning wheel to stop. No obvious reason. I was looking in the activity monitor to see anything. I made sure all the print drivers were up to date, the operating systems were up to date. So I honestly can't tell you why. I can just tell you the workaround to make it work faster is don't set the HP printer, which is a plan printer, don't set that as the default printer. So
that's weird.
One of those weird ones.
Yep.
Everything was up to date. So now
maybe I don't know. It's almost like that's one you should send off to Apple and say, "Hey, this is a file a radar or whatever," and just say, "What the heck is going on here?"
So it had me baffled for a long time. So, but yeah, we have a workaround that made it work perfectly, but it doesn't make sense. So yes, like you say, shoot off a comment to HP and to Apple. Now I'd just like to thank all our listeners and our supporters for your time tonight or today or tomorrow or whenever you actually get around to listening, watching, and thank you. Thanks, Garth. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you, Michael. I know there's a few bumps and bruises, but mostly in one piece. And Nick, good to see you again, mate.
Yeah. Welcome, Nick. Thank you. Thanks for controlling everything. And
anytime.
All right. Bye all. Thank you.
Good night.